Hi there, this is Lady M, and I wanted to show you my entry into the 2013 Minecon Build Competition. So we're given a lot here that's flat, 128 by 128, and we're supposed to build something with a Halloween theme. So I have chosen to build the house from the movie Psycho, and we're talking about the scary movie Psycho by Alfred Hitchcock. So my Psycho scene is going to take place on Halloween. That's kind of how we're tying it in here. So I'm starting to build off. We're on a road, and it has a little hint, feeling a bit psycho. So the story of Psycho, there is a woman who steals $40,000 from her employer, and she goes on the run. And she's driving on this road late at night, and she needs a place to stay. So here's an exit, last hotel for 100 miles. She's tired, so she decides to exit off and get a room for the night. So she checks in, she's given cabin number 1, and the manager here kind of takes a liking to her. This hotel is owned by a guy named Norman Bates, and he's a little bit on the crazy side. He lives here with his mother. Hello, Norman. There's Norman. Front desk. Today's date, October 31st. It's Halloween night. So this is the office for the motel. Norman Bates, manager. So Norman asks her to go to dinner. She accepts. And while they're at dinner, they're talking. And he tells her a lot about his mother. While I'm telling the story, we're going to look in some of these other rooms. They're just very, very simple. So after talking about the mother for a while, the woman thinks, you know, she sounds a little bit on the crazy side. Maybe you should have her institutionalized. Well, this kind of makes Norman a little upset. And they end dinner. She comes back to her room and is thinking, well, maybe stealing this money wasn't a good idea and I should take it back. So she goes to take a shower. Get ready for bed, you know, in the morning she's going to leave. Well, as she's taking the shower, she's basically murdered with a knife, and it's one of the most famous murder scenes. Woman in the shower with the knife going, and you don't see who did it at the time. You just know that she's dead. So Norman comes along and finds her dead. He has this little peephole he's been spying on her. So he takes the body, wraps it up in the shower curtain, and he takes her car, and he hides them all in the swamp. So, you know, when she's been missing a day or so, her boyfriend comes looking for her. Well, he finds clues that she's been there, and of course Norman's very nervous anytime anybody asks him questions. And he gets so nervous that eventually the cop finds himself, you know, dead too. So here's the car in the swamp. This is what the swamp looks like. I think it turned out pretty cool. There's the house on the hill. So yeah, the car is hidden in the swamp. So Mr. Sam Loomis finds himself dead also. So a little bit later, the woman's sister and her boyfriend come looking for her and start asking questions and start snooping around and finding things out from the sheriff in the other town. And what they find out is, you know, Norman's been talking about his mother. Well, mother's been dead for a really long time. So it's kind of crazy. He talks about her like she's still here. So Norman's a little bit, yeah, on the crazy side. So right here, this is a swimming pool that I built. Hasn't been used in a very long time. But, you know, every motel has a swimming pool, right? So they're doing some investigating, and, you know, they're asking Norman questions, and they also want to take a look in the house. Well, Norman doesn't like that. No trespassing, keep out. He doesn't want you to come up to the house. So why? It's because the house is probably full of secrets. Turn around and go back. Do not enter, no trick-or-treating. Well, this is Halloween. So there's the big old house on the hill, kind of scary looking. And yeah, he gets upset when he goes up there. So now we know Norman's mother is dead. What we find out later is Norman is actually the one who is killing people, but he's doing it with a wig that makes him look like his mother. So he has multiple personalities. He's Norman, he's Norman's mother. So this scene I created here is, we got this little blood trail. We got these little kids coming, and they're all dressed up. And they're going trick-or-treating up here, even though it says to keep out. Because, you know, kids like to trick-or-treat, and they don't know any better that this is a big scary house. So this is the house that Norman shares with his mother. And we have bats that fly out when you come in. Right here we have a chest with boots, a knife, some clothing. This is supposed to be like the mud room. This room isn't used very much because it's just Norman living here now. This is the living room. This is the kitchen, kind of an older style, kind of small. So the blood trail is leading upstairs. Cue our scary music. We have a little living area. Get the spider webs in the rafters. Here's Norman's room. Not a whole lot here, it's kind of sparse. And the room we have across here is Norman's mother's room. So what leads us up here, the blood trail, is the fact that Norman's mother is dead. And he keeps her as a skeleton sitting in the room, and he carries her around places, and he pretends to be her because he's that crazy. Yeah. So when they find out all this information, they manage to escape getting killed, and they get the sheriff, and Norman gets arrested, and he's put in the institution. So in looking at this this build over here, I have the cemetery. Had this. Let's go down the steps. We'll go down the steps. Have a little step path here that goes down into the cemetery. And we have Mary Crane. She is actually the name of the woman that stole the $40,000 and ended up being dead. Here is Norman's mother. So I put her grave a little bit bigger because, you know, she is the mother. She was the first one killed. And this is her lover, Joe Constantine. And the reason Norman killed her is because she took a lover after she's been telling him, you know, love is bad, women are bad, and then she kind of does everything that she told him not to do. And he got a little jealous, a little upset, didn't like it. So his little bit of crazy came out and he killed her. So this is Mary's boyfriend, Sam Loomis. He met the same fate. And Milton Abergast was a sheriff policeman that was investigating, and he also made the same fate. So we have a freshly dug grave here that probably was for Mary's sister, except that she found out the truth before she got killed. So they took Norman away, they locked him up, but that's after everything happened on this night, because when we saw Norman is in the hotel room, and there's little kids waiting to trick or treat, so what's going to happen on Halloween night to these poor little children that are going to this big scary house? And one of the coolest things that I like, if we look in the window, especially at night, we can see Norman's mother staring back at us. So yeah, that is my build for the 2013 Minecon Build Competition. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.